You've been told attraction is all about looks, jawlines, six-packs, sharp suits. But let's be honest, if it were just about looks, half the men who capture attention wouldn't even make sense. Have you ever seen a guy walk into a room, nothing flashy, nothing loud, and yet people notice? They lean in when he talks, they shift when he moves. Why? Because real attraction doesn't start with what you wear. It starts with what you radiate, a sense of presence, a calm that doesn't beg for attention but commands it without saying a word. This isn't about being the loudest man in the room. It's about being the still point in a world that's constantly shouting. And here's the truth, most of what draws people to you has nothing to do with your face or your muscles. It's primal, it's invisible, but it's powerful. Your energy walks in before you do. Your silence speaks louder than 100 clever punchlines. And the moment you realize that, that attraction is more about how you make people feel, not how you make them look. Something shifts, you stop chasing. You start anchoring, and people feel that. So in this video, we're not talking cologne or confidence tricks. We're breaking down 7 subtle, rare signs that you're already a deeply attractive man, even if you don't see it yet. Signs that go beyond surface and speak straight to the nervous system. Because real attraction, it's not performed, it's felt. Let's begin. Ever noticed how someone scratches their jaw right after you do, or takes a sip of their drink right after you just took yours? You lean back, they lean back. You cross your arms. Suddenly, so do they. It's not mimicry. It's not mockery. It's instinct. Because deep down, our brains are wired to follow energy that feels safe, calm, and steady. And if people are unconsciously mirroring your posture or gestures, it means something powerful. They're syncing with you. They trust you. They're drawn to you. And they probably don't even realize it. This is what I call the unspoken rhythm. You're not trying to lead, but your energy quietly takes the lead. You're not demanding attention, but your presence subtly tells the room, this is the pace, and I'm not rushing. Here's the thing. We often think influence comes with volume, authority, or charisma, but real influence, it's quieter. It shows up in the way people adjust themselves just to feel closer to your calm. Think about it. Why would someone unconsciously imitate you if they didn't feel safe? If they didn't feel something magnetic, even in silence? That's attraction. Before a single word is spoken. That's leadership without labels. That's presence, not performance. So the next time someone shifts in their chair right after you do, don't brush it off. Don't call it coincidence. See it for what it is. A subtle, primal acknowledgement that the rhythm of the room just changed just because you walked in. You're out with friends, just catching up. No one's officially in charge. But when the question comes, where should we go? All eyes turn to you. In the group chat, no one decides anything until you weigh in. Even at work, someone who barely knows you walks up and asks, hey, what do you think of this? You're not the loudest. You're not pushing your opinion. And yet, people keep coming to you. Why? Because there's something about your energy that feels settled. In a world that's constantly spinning, you don't wobble. You don't react out of panic. You pause, you assess, you speak when it matters, and people feel that. They may not say it out loud, but their nervous systems are reading you like a compass. You become the quiet anchor, the one who doesn't try to control the current but somehow steadies the ship. Think about it. Why would someone defer to your opinion, even when it's not your problem? Because your presence has a way of calming the mental static. You don't just give answers, you create clarity. And that clarity, it's deeply attractive, not just to women, but to everyone. Because we're all drawn to the person who can see the bigger picture, when everyone else is zoomed in on the chaos. So if people keep asking for your thoughts, your take, your perspective, it's not random. It's a reflection of trust, of respect, of a deeper instinct that says, I don't know what to do, but I believe you might. You're waiting for your coffee, walking the dog, maybe standing in the cereal aisle deciding between 2 boxes. Nothing dramatic, nothing staged, but then it happens. A stranger looks your way. Their eyes linger, just a second longer than what's considered casual. And when you glance back, they quickly look away, like they weren't watching at all, but they were. And you felt it. This isn't about looking like a movie star. It's not about what you're wearing. You're not flexing, you're not trying. And that's exactly why it's happening. See, attraction, the deep instinctive kind, doesn't always announce itself with fanfare. It's subtle. It slips in sideways, and often it hides behind a quick glance. That almost didn't happen. But your presence, it carries something. A kind of calm, a quiet confidence, an energy that says, I know who I am and I don't need you to validate it. That kind of energy is rare and magnetic. Because in a world full of noise and overperformance, someone who's simply at ease become impossible to ignore. So the next time someone looks at you just a little too long, don't question it. Don't dismiss it. Understand it for what it is. It's not just curiosity, it's not just coincidence. It's a moment where something in them recognizes something in you, even if they couldn't explain it. That is attraction in its rawest form. Unspoken, unforced, undeniable. You ever had someone hand you your favorite coffee, and you didn't even ask for it? Or they casually skipped the pineapple on the pizza because you once mentioned you hated it weeks ago? Not a big deal, right? But then it happens. Again and again, they bring up something you said in passing, a story you forgot, a weird opinion you shared half-jokingly. And somehow, they remembered. Not because it was the most profound thing in the world, but because you said it. That's the thing about truly attractive people. They don't just pass through a moment, they leave something behind, a trace, a memory, an emotional footprint. And the wildest part, you often don't even remember what they said. But they remember you. Why? Because when your energy feels grounded and real, people subconsciously hold on to it. Not because you were the loudest voice in the room, but because you made that moment feel more alive, just by being fully present. It's not about the details. It's about how you made them feel when you shared them. That's what sticks. That's what lingers. You don't need to be impressive. You just need to be real enough for someone to feel safe remembering you. So the next time someone recalls your favorite snack, your weekend plan, or some strange comment you made 2 Tuesdays ago, don't brush it off. That's not just memory. That's connection. You're not just being remembered, you're being kept. You're standing in line at the grocery store, or maybe it's a party, a cafe, a coworker you've barely spoken to before, and suddenly someone starts talking, not about the weather, not about sports, but about their breakup, their childhood, a scar they haven't shown many people. And the strange thing is that you didn't ask, you didn't push, you were just there. This is something most people miss when talking about attraction. We think it's all about looks, charm, confidence, but there's a kind of quiet power, deeper than all of that, called emotional safety. It's what people feel when they're around someone who won't judge, someone who doesn't try to fix them or impress them or one-up their pain. Just someone who listens, fully, without tension, without rush. When your presence makes people feel like they can take off the mask, that's rare and deeply attractive, because here's the truth. Anyone can wear a nice shirt, anyone can talk smooth, but not everyone can create a space where another human being feels safe enough to fall apart a little and not be afraid. When strangers open up to you, when acquaintances tell you things they've never said out loud before, that's not random. That's trust. And trust is intimacy's doorway. And intimacy? That's where real attraction begins, the kind that lasts. So if people keep handing you their stories, their secrets, their quiet heartbreaks, don't underestimate what that means. You're not just someone they like, you're someone they feel safe with. And in today's world, that's rarer than beauty. Ever walked into a room where the air felt heavy? Where voices were just a little too loud, tempers on edge, and something invisible was cracking in the background? Then you step in, and you don't raise your voice. You don't take control, you just exist. But the energy shifts. People start talking softer, breathing slower. Somehow the fire dims, and no one really knows why. That's what it means to be an emotional thermostat. You don't react to the heat. You regulate it. You set the tone just by being there. It's not about being passive, it's about being centered. And that centeredness, that grounded stillness, is rare in a world built on overreaction. You don't absorb chaos, you reflect calm. And without realizing it, people calibrate to you. This isn't just about charisma. It's a kind of quiet gravity. You don't pull people in with noise, you attract them with stability. And here's the real secret. That calm you carry, it's not just respected, it's deeply attractive. Because when someone feels safer, clearer, more in control around you, they don't want to leave. We live in a time where everyone's overstimulated, quick to speak, quicker to snap. So when you walk in with a presence that doesn't demand space but settles it, you don't just change the vibe. You become the vibe, and that's a kind of seduction no volume can fake. It's not loud, it's not obvious, but it's powerful. You didn't ask to come, you didn't even know it was happening. But someone drops a message. Hey, we're doing something this weekend, you in? Or you get added to a group trip just like that. No explanation, no pitch, just included. That's not random, that's resonance. You might think you're quiet. You're not the loudest, not the entertainer. But somehow when you're there, things feel better, not louder, not crazier, just more alive. That's what people are really inviting. Not just your body, your name, or your availability. They're inviting the energy that follows you in the door. The calm, the clarity. The presence that upgrades the room without needing to steal it. You don't need to perform. You don't need to lead the conversation or crack the best jokes. Your value isn't in noise. It's in how others feel when you're near. And here's the deeper truth. People don't remember every detail of an event. They remember how they felt while it happened. And when you're around, they just feel more like themselves. Safer, lighter, a little more human. That's why you keep getting invited. Not out of politeness, not out of obligation, but because your presence matters, even if no one can quite explain why. So if you're always showing up on the invite list, even when you never asked, know this. You're not just being included. You're being wanted, and that's the kind of attractiveness that doesn't fade when the lights go out. You've probably heard this line before. Wait, you're single? And it's not said in surprise like you're unlovable, it's said with disbelief, as if it doesn't make sense, as if someone like you should already be taken. But here's the thing. It's not the ring, it's not your Instagram, it's the way you carry yourself. There's something about a man who walks into a room like he doesn't need to prove anything, who isn't searching for approval or chasing attention. A man who seems content, with or without an audience. That quiet confidence, that self-possession, it sends a powerful signal. You must already be in demand. You must belong to someone, because someone surely saw your value before anyone else did. And that's where the paradox kicks in. People become curious, but hesitant, attracted, but cautious. They want to know more, but they don't want to be foolish enough to assume you're available. So what happens? Only the serious ones step forward. The ones who aren't playing games. Because to even consider approaching you, they've already made a decision. You're worth it. And that, right there, is the beauty of it. When your presence speaks louder than your relationship status, you don't have to declare your worth. It's already been felt. So the next time someone assumes you're taken, don't be surprised. Don't feel overlooked. That's not rejection. It's recognition of the calm, grounded, high-value energy you carry, whether someone's holding your hand or not. So here's the truth. Most of what makes you attractive won't show up in a mirror. It won't be captured in a selfie. It's not in the abs or the car or the bank account. It's quieter than that. It's older than that. It's primal attraction. Real, lasting attraction isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It's in the way your presence shifts a room without you saying a word. It's in how people feel calmer, clearer, more themselves when you're near. These signs we've talked about, they're subtle, sometimes hidden, but if you recognized yourself in even one of them, then chances are you're already giving off a kind of magnetism you don't even realize. And maybe that's the point. The most powerful energy never needs to announce itself. It just is. So the next time you doubt your worth, the next time you wonder if you're attractive enough, remember this. You don't have to be the loudest in the room to be the one they remember. You just have to be real, rooted, present. And that kind of presence, it doesn't fade. It stays long after you've left. If this resonated with you, if it made you see yourself a little differently, do one small thing like the video. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Subscribe if you want more content that cuts deeper than surface advice, because sometimes the strongest signal is the one no one's shouting but everyone's feeling.